Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Emkay Global Financial Services. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rohit Nagaraj from Emkay Global Financial Services. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Nirav. Good evening, everyone, and hope all are in good health. I would like to welcome the management of Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited and thank them for providing us the opportunity to host the conference call. We have with us today the senior management team of the company, represented by Mr. Vivek Jain, Managing Director, Mr. V.K. Soni, Head Projects and New Initiatives, Mr. Manoj Agarwal, Chief Financial Officer, and Anbu Agarwal, Head Investor Relations. I shall now hand over the call to Mr. Manoj Agarwal for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. On behalf of Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all participants. We are happy to inform that the Directors of Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited has its board meeting approved the reviewed financial result of the company for Q2 FY22. The financial results are uploaded to the website of the stock exchanges, BSE as well as NSE, and also on the website of the company. We have also uploaded the earning presentation for Q2 FY22. I will take you through this presentation initially, and then we can open the call for any questions that you all might have. Starting with the financial result overview, revenue for the quarter Q2 FY22 stood at 964 crores, which is 56% higher than the revenues for Q2 FY21, which were at 617 crores. Further, on quarter-to-quarter sequential basis, as compared to Q1 FY22, which was at 912 crores, there is a growth of about 6%. Looking at the EBITDA numbers, EBITDA for Q2 FY22 stood at 296 crores as compared to 157 crores in FY21, up by 88%. When compared with the EBITDA for the preceding quarter, that is Q1 FY22, EBITDA was rupees 255 crores. Currently, it is higher by 16%. As far as PAT is concerned, PAT for Q2 FY22 is at 205 crores, up 159% from Q2 FY21, which was rupees 79 crores. Further, PAT for the previous quarter, Q1 FY22 was at 151 crores and is now up 36% at 205 crores on sequential basis. So, this was a brief financial overview of the company at the aggregate level. Now, if you look at the performance of the various business verticals, the company revenue from operation comprises of 4 different business verticals. That is bulk chemicals, which comprises of caustic soda, chloromethane, and refrigerant gases. Fluoropolymers, that is PTFE, new fluoropolymers, comprising of FKM, PFA, FEP, PVDF, PVA, and micropowders, and lastly, specialty chemicals. So I will take you through one by one for the performance of all business verticals. Caustic soda revenue for Q2 FY22 stood at rupees 102 crores as compared to 72 crores in Q2 FY21, up 42%. Caustic soda revenues when compared to previous quarter, that is Q1 FY22, is up 16% from 88 crores on sequential basis. Chloromethane revenues for Q2 FY22 stood at 122 crores as compared to 83 crores in Q2 FY21, up 47%. Chloromethane's revenue when compared to previous quarter, that is Q1 FY22, is up at 30% from 94 crores on sequential basis. Refrigerants revenue for Q2 FY22 stood at 92 crores as compared to 88 crores in Q2 FY21, marginally better. Refrigerant revenue when compared to previous quarter Q1 FY22 is almost flat on sequential basis. PTFE sales now covering the polymer business, polymer verticals. PTFE sales for Q2 FY22 were at 360 crores as compared to 205 crores in Q2 FY21, up 76%, gaining significantly on account of rise in both prices and volumes due to robust demand across all geographies. PTFE sales when compared to previous quarter, that is Q1 FY22, is up 20% from 320 crores on sequential basis. New fluoropolymer sales were at 182 crores, up 184% as compared to 64 crores in the same quarter previous year, that is Q2 FY21. New fluoropolymer sales when compared to previous quarter, that is Q1 FY22, is up at 23% from 148 crores on sequential basis. Lastly, the specialty chemical is down by 11% from 73 crores to 65 crores when compared to same quarter of previous year, Q2 FY21, mainly on account of demand displacement for certain molecules due to COVID. Thus, the company has posted robust growth in most of the business verticals. So this was a brief quantitative description of the financial performance of the company. Now, apart from the financial performance, we have also in the presentation included qualitative description of each of the business verticals. I will briefly take you through each of them. As far as the caustic soda is concerned, the plants are currently running at about full capacity utilization. Caustic soda prices started strengthening during the quarter and are expected to increase further during S2 FY22. The demand supply situation is expected to remain favorable for the next few quarters. There has been increase in cost because of rising energy prices. However, these cost increases are expected to be offset from the higher realization. Within the bulk chemical segment, as far as chloromethanes are concerned, the plants are also running at full capacity. Demand for MDC, which is mainly used in pharma sector, remains quite strong. On the price front, is likely to be impacted from Q1 FY23 as some additional capacities are expected to commission domestically. Similarly, on the raw material side, the methanol prices has increased but have been offset by the higher product prices. As far as our refrigerants are concerned, R22 volumes and prices remain stable in Q2 FY22. Similarly, for refrigerants, demand is expected to remain suppressed in Q3 FY22 due to seasonality and expected to be normalized by Q4 FY22. But our productions will continue to increase due to rising feedstock requirements, and prices are also expected to be increased due to cost push on input side of raw material, energy as well as logistics. Coming to the fluoropolymer vertical, on PTFE sides, plants are running at full capacities. Demands are very robust across all geographies. Prices are moved due to both rising demand as well as the cost push. Demand expected to remain robust for next few quarters. And with this, management has planned the capacity augmentation in line with the demand growth. On new fluoropolymers, capacities are in place for all the 6 new fluoropolymers. Various grades under each polymer already have been established, and few new PVDF grades are developed in the process of customer qualification and commercial ramp-up. Capacity utilization during the quarter is around 65% and expected to reach full capacity utilization by end of this financial year. On the demand front, there is a substantial increase in demand for FKM and PVDF and as well as micro powders, and additional capacities for these products are also under installation and commissioning. Prices are also for both FKM and PVDF have moved up due to rising demand and cost push of key raw material R142B. And to mitigate this, GFL is backward integrating to produce R142B for captive feedstock requirement for both FKM and PVDF as well as for exports. And lastly, on the specialty chemical verticals, all 11 products have been fully commercialized. However, capacity utilization remained low for pharma-related intermediates due to demand displacement in favor of COVID-related drugs. We expect that this will start normalizing from Q4 FY22. Additionally, we have to discontinue two products due to cost increases which eroded the margins. However, 3 new plants for manufacturing of 8 additional products are expected to be commissioned by Q4 FY22. So with all this, we expect substantial increase in revenues will commence from Q1 FY23 with the new plants fully operational. So that was a brief qualitative outlook of each of the business verticals. Apart from at the micro level for each business verticals, at the overall at the company level, our expansion plans are well in place. We are in process of augmenting existing. We are in process of augmenting existing as well as adding new capacities in new fluoropolymer and specialty chemicals, which are yet to be fully commissioned. The same are expected to reach full utilization in next 2-3 quarters, leading to higher revenues and profit. So given this, ROC is expected to further improve given higher margin from this incremental sales. As regard to new age products, GFL is in process of setting up an integrated battery chemical complex. In addition, GFL has developed suitable PVDF grades for cathode binder application. This initiative will require significant capex in next few years and will ensure a robust growth in revenues and profits. GFL is also in process of setting up India's first PVDF solar film project, which will be commissioned in next financial year. With our own integrated PVDF manufacturing facilities, this plant will be ideally suited to cater to both domestic and international market. GFL, with its rich experience and a portfolio of major fluoropolymers, is well equipped to cater to fluoropolymers required for hydrogen electrolyzers, fuel cells, and charging station. GFL has also taken the project to indigenously develop and produce PEM membrane. We believe that our new age products will see substantial growth in next few years with higher margins will lead to us to further improvement in our financial ratios. GFL expect all these initiatives to offer a sustained business growth for foreseeable future. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a walkthrough to the presentation. I would like now to open this up for any questions that you might have that we'll try and answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Hansal Thakkar from Lalkar Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, sir. First of all, heartfelt congratulations on what might possibly be one of our best quarters in the recent past, Vivek ji and Manoj ji. I have 2 questions, sir. One about the existing business and one about the new age vertical. About the existing business, I just wanted to know what is the status of our captive wind power asset. There seems to be a delay, so I'm just wondering if you could give some timeline on the installation and the realizing of the cost gain.
Sorry, we didn't get your question right.
So I was wondering if you could give a timeline on the installation of our wind power asset, the 125 megawatts of wind power asset that we were to install.
Yeah. So there have been certain delays there, but by 31st March 2022, we'll put up about 20-25 megawatt of capacity. The delay has taken place largely due to the fact that there was a wind power policy prevalent in Gujarat, which was going to be updated in April 2021, but due to COVID, that policy renewal is now going to take place only in April 22. Now, what that policy was going to do was that it was going to lift a current restriction on wind power projects, installation of wind power projects, because in the previous policy, it was restricted to 50% of the contract demand, sanctioned contract demand. Unfortunately, because the policy revision has got delayed, we have to wait till April 22 for this to, and once it goes through, then we will be able to put in additional capacity for which we had sought sanction. In the solar policy in Gujarat, they had already removed the ceiling on contract demand, and as such, any amount of solar capacity can be put up for captive use. A similar kind of change was supposed to have been done for wind, but as I explained earlier, there has been a delay, and we expect that to happen in the next financial year, April. Now, while the 20 megawatts which we are planning to put up just now is on the basis of contract demand, which is already available with us. So that is something which is possible to put up just now. And as you might know, that there has been a massive increase in energy prices in the last 1 year. Coal has gone up by 4 times, gas has doubled, tripled. So energy costs have become very high. So the renewable energy projects will have improved in return expectations. And once we are clear about the government policy, then we intend to put up the balanced capacity also. However, if there is a restriction in the new policy which is announced by the government of Gujarat, then by 30th of June next year, whatever capacity which is not permitted to be fulfilled, the advances which have been given by GFL will be returned back to the company.
Okay. Thank you for the detailed answer. So on the new expansion, I believe we clearances from from the proposed expansion for which we've received the TOR in September. So I think we should be receiving those clearances in the next 15 to 30 days, I'm guessing. So my question actually is, I just wanted to know that what is the timeline and the status of the trial production of these new age chemicals like the lithium hexafluorophosphate and the electrolytes. I mean, are these tried out successfully in our labs and accepted by our customers as of now?
Our commercial plant will be commissioned by about 30th September 22, and thereafter our test trials with the customers will begin, and we expect that it will probably take about a quarter for the product quality to be fine-tuned to the requirements of the customers.
Okay, all right. So the PVDF and the electrolytes and the LiPF6 which you're using as a salt. So I would assume that this would be the EV vertical of the business. So are you in a position to let us know what percentage of our revenue can come from this EV segment particularly?
So you see, at this point of time, it is difficult for us to give you a number. But all we can say is that once these new products, for instance, PVDF as well as LiPF6 projects are successful, PVDF we are already manufacturing. We are pushing the grades for approvals by the EV battery manufacturers, and we have already sent samples for evaluation. Once these are successfully tested and approved by customers, we see a huge potential for growth in the next coming years, because the entire EV business is slated for a huge expansion. I think the numbers which the government of India is talking about, what Europe is talking about, the US are talking about are huge. And so the potential to expand in a way for a company like us is in a way unlimited.
Thank you. I request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. If time permits, please come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. The next question is from the line of Ketan Gandhi from Gandhi Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Nice to hear you from after a long time. Sir, what is the current price of PTFE we are selling in the market?
Current average price of PTFE would be about $12 to $13. Good.
PTFE prices are around average 8 lakh rupees.
8 lakh rupees.
Perfect. So my next question is, in the existing business, the management has very prudently mitigated the risk with the procurement of the raw material like fluorspar and salt, which gives you the final product. So similarly, what is the strategy of the management to mitigate the raw material risk of lithium carbonate, phosphorus pentachloride, and ethylene or dimethylene or propylene carbonate? Because I've been tracking the price of the lithium carbonate. It has gone from, by almost 2 or 3 times in the last 1.5 year.
So actually there are 2 raw materials, basically as you rightly said, lithium carbonate and phosphorus pentachloride. So regarding the latter, we plan to make it ourselves in a phased manner. Regarding the former, the lithium carbonate, we are in serious discussions with many parties around the world and facilitated by NITI Aayog and Kabil, who are organizing these. So we don't see any issue whatsoever in making available the raw materials.
And sir, what about ethylene and dimethyl or propylene carbonate, which is required for the making electrolyte?
A phased program starting with the main salt, which is lithium LiPF6, and the additives, as well as the electrolyte formulation, and making lithium fluoride in-house, PCl5 in-house. This will be followed later with the solvents. At the moment, solvents will be buying. The co-solvents will be buying.
Great.
So in the electrolyte sector, we will be limiting presently to the main salt, the additives, and the formulations.
Perfect. And sir, there is a lot of buzz regarding green hydrogen lately in India as well as abroad. And I believe that generating green hydrogen through electrolysis of water using PEM, that is proton exchange membrane technology, which requires a lot of PTFE and PVDF as a critical requirement in the process. So can you throw some light on how we are thinking in this about this, whether we will be tying up with somebody and supplying the material, or we will make this thing ourselves and will be selling, like a product company or service company?
You see, regarding hydrogen, it is firstly, as you rightly said, produced in the electrolyzers. Electrolyzers have 2 requirements where GFL figure in. One is the fluoropolymers for the various parts of the electrolyzer, like gasket, seals, etc., and also the frames to support the membrane. So these are naturally our natural products, and we'll be supplying for the electrolyzers, which make green hydrogen. There is another part which is proton exchange membrane, PEM membrane, which we'll be doing R&D with indigenous institutes and That would be a new product which we'll be launching, but it will take a couple of years' time because we have to develop the same. Regarding fuel cells, the story is same. It also needs membrane, which we'll be developing, as well as it needs even great density of fluoropolymers, which are our natural products, and we already make them, and we'll be supplying those.
So we will be a product company, right, sir, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, we won't be going into, at the moment, into making green hydrogen, but we would be facilitating it greatly by giving the components for electrolyzer and the fuel cell.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And sir, you have spoken about the expansion. I believe in next 2 years we are doing around 1100 crore of capex. So for this incremental capacity, what would be our asset turn?
Asset turn for the capex, so the 1100 crore. We have given 600 crore by FY22, 900 crore by FY23, and about 1000 crore by FY24. So the capex asset turnover would vary because the substantial part of the capex would be done for fluoropolymers and battery chemicals, where the asset turnover ratio is better. So I didn't understand, you want it for the company as a whole or for the new capexes?
No, new capex only, sir.
A new capexes, it will be definitely healthier.
Yeah, probably about 1.5 times.
Yeah, yes, 1.5, more than 1.5 times, yes.
And Margin in the north?
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I'll request you to come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. I request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Jain from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for taking the question. First, on the continuing with the capex thing, I was looking at, we have a CWIP of 5.6 billion, and we intend to do a 600 crores of capex this year, and we have already spent 250. So that means this year the capitalization will be upwards of 700-800 crores. Is that the understanding right?
No. Actually, if you see the slides, we have given a total figure for FY22, that is 600 crore.
Correct.
Includes the capex, CWIP or expenditure already done by us.
Okay.
To the tune of around 300 to 400 crore, and balance 200 crores will be done in the second half.
Okay, balance 200 crore will be done in the second half. So total capitalization will be 600, right?
That depends on the completion of the project as we envisage and planned.
Got it. Can you give some color on the capex for this year at least? Where are we spending this 600 crore on? Whether it will be PTFE because we are running at a full capacity already in the PTFE. Number 2, do we have enough R22 to support the expansion of PTFE? And again, within the fluoropolymer, the 6 new fluoropolymers we have, which are the ones we are looking to expand? So can you give us just some color on this 600 crores of capex we are incurring in FY22, and it will be helpful if you can also give us some color on FY23 spend.
Yeah, just a moment, please.
Sanjay, may I request you to mute your line from your side, please?
Okay.
Yeah. So regarding your first question, the capex out of 600 crore, about 250 to 300 crore will be on specialty chemicals, and about 200 crore on fluoropolymers, as we mentioned, these 3 fluoropolymers, FKM, PVDF, and micropowders.
Okay. And next year, because we are running at PTFE, that means volume growth for PTFE is capped at the existing level, right?
Yes, that's right. Volume growth will be limited to our current capacity.
Correct. So when are we planning to add the PTFE capacity for the growth in that segment?
That is happening in the next financial year, which is part of the 900 crore capex which we have indicated. Almost about 250-300 crores will be put into that, and that will come up by the first quarter, January, February, March 23.
Got it. And if you can give us color on the R22 capacity for all this expansion?
We'll have enough R22 capacity.
So R22 is not the concern area. We have enough and more to expand our capacity for the fluoropolymers.
Sorry?
I'm asking, the existing capacity is fully covered for the future growth in the fluoropolymer from the R22 side?
Yes. Yeah, we will have enough R22 available for meeting the requirement, our enhanced requirements of 22 going into the capacity increase of PTFE.
Got it. Just last question from my side. I'll come back in the queue. I got more. If you can just explain when we say we are about to commission a integrated battery chemical complex, what does this really mean? If I want to visualize, what will this entire complex will consist of?
So basically, integrated battery chemical complex, we mean that we are going starting from lithium carbonate, which is a mined and refined ore.
Yeah.
And the basic raw materials like red phosphorus or yellow phosphorus and chlorine. So that means all the components of making in-house PCl5 or PF5 or AHF or lithium fluoride will be all included in this complex. It is integrated from basic raw materials up to the last step of electrolyte formulations which go into the lithium battery makers.
Got it. And we will be the only manufacturer of LiPF6 in India?
Presently, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I will come back in the queue for more questions, and best of luck for coming quarters.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nikhil from Galaxy International. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, sir, and congratulations on a great set of numbers. Absolutely fantastic. I have just two small questions. We have been reading a lot of, let's say, reorganization of promoter holding over the last couple of weeks in the papers and through the disclosures. So anything that management would like to comment on this, if possible, and if not confidential?
No, there's nothing confidential. It has been a very amicable realignment, and within the family, and Gujarat Fluorochemicals and the wind operations are with my group, and the other three businesses in the erstwhile group are with the Bombay family.
Okay, so the alignment with all this reorganization, the alignment would be kind of complete, right? So all the cross-holdings and all would be.
It's all completed. Everything is amicably settled.
Sure. And the second question was, sir, on this, we have a borrowing limit for, or let's say, a loan limit of 1,000 odd crores to the group companies. So
yeah.
Can we expect that over the next maybe 1 to 2 years, once things stabilize and everything goes well, so these limits will no longer be required, and hence we may not be supporting the group companies?
Yeah, I would say that by 31st March 23, most of these guarantees will be returned back.
And no fresh guarantees may be required.
There is no further requirement. There is no further requirement because the wind business itself is now becoming strong, and there is a huge opportunity of growth there.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mithun Soni from GC Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. So a couple of questions. One, in the caustic soda segment, what would have been our realizations? Realizations in the market has gone up, but revenue has not really reflected as much. So what would be our average realizations?
No, the realizations are going up now, and we'll give you what is the average realization?
See, average realization is around 27,000 to 28,000 per metric ton.
During this quarter?
During this quarter.
But we would have been running it at full utilizations, or it would have been running at lesser?
Full utilization.
Okay. And so coming in terms of the PTFE and new fluoropolymers, what would be our current capacity utilizations? You had indicated that we will almost reach full utilization by year end. So what would be our current utilization in these two segments?
So PTFE we are running at full capacity, which is almost about 1,500 to 1,600 tons per month.
Okay.
And for new fluoropolymers, we are at about 550 tons, and our capacities are 700 tons. So by March 22, this will be fully utilized.
Okay. So basically then, in case of PTFE, the new growth will come only once we start seeing the capacity, the new capacity comes up.
Yes, which is going to happen in January, February, March 23.
So basically for that's almost like one year now.
Yeah.
Almost 4 to 5 quarters. Yeah. And if you can give some breakup on 900 crores of capex, what would be and 1,000 crores? So that if I'm not understanding correct, 900 crores will be spent in FY23 and then 1,000 crores additional in FY24. So if you can just give a broad guidance as to where are we going to spend all this money?
So you want the breakup for FY23 900 crore, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Actually, we would be spending on the battery chemicals,
okay,
and the EV fluoropolymer components, that is PVDF. We will be spending about 250 crore.
On the PVDF?
Yeah, and also on the PVDF film, we will be spending about 100 crore. And we will be spending on PTFE expansion about 250 crore. And one intermediate for backward integration into chemical sector for our fluoropolymers will be spending about 100 crore, and the rest 250 crore for infrastructure, energy, etc.
and wind,
which includes the wind power. Just now, as Mr. Jain mentioned, so that is
so that would be it. And one last question, if you may.
Sorry to interrupt you. May I request you to come back in the question queue? Thank you. Participants, please request to ask 2 questions per participant. If time permits, please come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. The next question is from the line of Vivek Gautam from GS Investments. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to know about the recent imposition of anti-dumping duty on some of our product, and what could be not the imposition, rather removal. What could be the impact on our company, sir? First question.
Negligible, no impact.
How come, sir? Basically,
very, very limited competition which we are directly doing with Russia. Maybe it is about 10, 15, 20 tons in a month. So it's not, and there is enough demand. We can sell that volume anywhere. So it is not really impacting anything which we are doing here in India.
Okay. Sir, there were some concerns on the company on the related party transactions, I think. So that was a big overhang.
But we discussed that already. This was related to the wind advances which had been given for the wind capacity we were going to put up in Gujarat Fluorochemicals for our own requirements of wind, because of energy, because energy constitutes the biggest single cost element for the company, and we were going ahead with this investment to reduce our energy costs.
And so what role the second generation of Mr. Jain going to play in the company? Any role would he be there?
Sorry?
The son of the founder, Mr.
Yeah.
So what role is he playing in this company? He's looking after the Inox Wind.
Yes.
And any role he's playing in that fluorochemicals, sir?
Yeah, in a year or two, he will start involving himself with the chemical business also. Once wind settles in the next year, he will have enough time to start devoting to the chemical business also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Viral Shah from Enam Holdings.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and congratulations on a good set of numbers. Sir, a couple of bookkeeping questions. So would it be possible to share the PTFE volumes for the quarter, and how would the mix be between value-added PTFE and commodity grade of PTFE?
Yes, on a very, very general side, value-added PTFE would be about 55% and the generic grade PTFE would be about 45%.
Okay. Sir, second question is, if I look at the other income this quarter, there's a quarter-on-quarter rise of around 20 crores. So what would this be pertaining to, sir? So 46 crores for other income?
Gain is for the 19 crore. Gain on disposal of the office, from Bombay office.
Sorry, sir, I could not hear you. If you could repeat that, please.
This is a gain on the sale of property, which is our office property in Mumbai. We have shifted the entire operation from Mumbai to Delhi. So that office was no longer required and we have disposed that of. Okay,
sure. And just last question, I think you've done, there's been improvement in working capital, if I look at it compared to the March quarter or the previous September quarter. Is there further scope of improvement here, sir, or do you think that we've reached the optimum levels?
Our internal target is to take it down to 100 days, but we must remember that our business is different from other businesses. In the fluoropolymer business, which constitutes the bulk of the business, we export 75% of our product. Service our customers very, very efficiently there. So we maintain 1 month of stock in our warehouses in US and Europe. There is 1 month of inventory in transit on the seas, and 1 month inventory is there with us. Meet the urgent requirements from customers with us in India. So the nature of our business is such that it requires a higher inventory of finished goods. It may be different for other companies who are, say, handling bulk chemicals, because chemicals, in any case, you can't hold much inventory because it is all liquid and there has to be bulk storage. So by nature of the business, our business requires a higher inventory, and that is where much of our sizable part of our working capital is been allocated. Secondly, there is also the issue of the terms at which you sell your products. Now, if, for instance, some companies were to sell their products through distributors and get the money upfront, then their blockage of funds and working capital will be less. On the other hand, we give more credit because we get a better price. So it's a call between better margins or lower working capital. But we are now looking at the entire working capital again in a very focused manner to try and ensure that we are able to further reduce the overall working capital. And we believe that in the next 1 year, we should be able to get it down to 100 days.
Sure. Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Deman Shah from One Up Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Am I audible, please?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the call, sir. 2 quick questions. As we graduate I believe we do most of the grades in PTFE, both general grade and the value-added grades. Is there any grade that we currently not address and are likely to take it up in the forthcoming capex?
That could be possible, but as we see that there is going to be sufficient additional demand coming in for grades which we have already developed. But and at this point of time, we don't see a gap in the product portfolio which we currently offer to the market. So, frankly speaking, I won't be able to answer that, but really it doesn't matter because we would have enough demand coming in to be able to service, to be able to utilize the additional capacities which we are proposing.
Correct. And secondly, in your opinion, the new polymers segment would be at the forefront in terms of both growth and margins as we move forward. So clearly, if you have to kind of, do a kind of analysis of the better performing segment, it would be new polymers, then PTFE, then specialty, and then bulk, or the order would be different, both in terms of growth, ROC, and margins. The
new fluoropolymers, the margin and the growth will be higher in terms of percentage.
Right.
That will the volume will grow up, especially because of the requirement of PVDF in EV batteries and solar cells. So we see a huge potential for growth there. So in the next 2 to 3 years, as these markets grow, we will keep on increasing capacities to meet those requirements.
Correct. And as an associated question, since we are again undergoing a capex cycle, what in your opinion, because I think past 2 years your consolidated operating profit is in the 500-600 range, 500-600 crores. So do you see a significant rise, or where do you see the debt kind of, the peak debt kind of, what kind of number?
First of all, our operating profitability is much higher.
Right.
Secondly, we will keep on growing if there is an opportunity. We put in capex if there is an opportunity. And at this point of time, we see a lot of opportunity in the products and business segments in which we are currently working. So that is the reason why these additional capexes are being put in. And we expect the return from these additional capexes would be similar, if not better, than the margins which we are currently getting. We expect most likely that the margins would be better.
Super. So, if you have to put a rough kind of estimate on the growth, would it be upwards of 15-20% for next few years, for next 2-3 years? Because you have outlined.
I would say certainly in the region of 20-25% for sure.
Super. And lastly, if you can comment on the competitive landscape that we are likely to face in especially PTFE, because I think SRF also wanted to kind of enter this space. So if you can enumerate.
No, I don't think it is possible for me to say what will happen when they come in, but all I can say is that the market is large enough, it is growing, and we perhaps might not be competing except in a very small percentage of our total PTFE portfolio.
So in new polymers, we would have no competition. In specialty, by and large, we would have no competition. PTFE, there would be possibly no overlap. So,
but there could be competition. You can't say that there won't be any competition, but we are not overly concerned about it.
Super, super. Thank you. Many thanks for answering all the questions, sir.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Ranjit Siromala from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for this opportunity. I have two specific questions. You gave the breakup for FY23 capex. I would like a similar breakup for FY24, which we are pegging at 1,000 crores.
So these are broad numbers which we are giving, and they could undergo a change because the situation is constantly evolving. But we will indicate to you what we currently have in mind.
So most of the capex of about 1,000 crore is for the new age products because it comprises of two components. One is for the fluoropolymers, basically PVDF, and it's the monomer for the new age products, which is binders for the EV batteries and film for the backsheet for the solar panels. And almost the other half is for further expansion in the electrolyte, LiPF6 and formulations, etc.
And this capex should take at least a couple of years to fructify?
No, actually this directly, we are putting the capacity ahead of the demand because the demand is, with all projections, expected to come. So it would be in pace with the demand rise in India as well as abroad, especially in Europe.
Okay. And the second question, we had these income tax refunds that we have recognized a couple of years back. Have we received the full money, or is it still something is pending on that front?
No, everything is received. In fact, last year we have moved to a Vivad to Vishwas settlement also, and we have moved to a concessional tax regime. If you see our effective tax rate for this year, it is 25%.
So I was referring to the reduce or the tax refunds on the carbon credits income that we had kind of recognized.
We have received all that. We have received all that.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohit Nagraj from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and congrats on good set of numbers. So the first question is on the R&D front. So how are we currently positioned in terms of our R&D strength, infrastructure, and given that we are involved in the EV space, which probably will have more focus on R&D and developing new products in terms of indigenous technology, what are the steps that we are taking on this front? If you could elaborate, that would be helpful. Thank you.
No, we have a sufficient strength at this point of time. We keep on adding people and to the strength as and when required. So frankly speaking, we don't see any necessity. We also work with some of the laboratories, both in India and abroad, to be able to benefit from the expertise which they already possess. And I think for the time being, our R&D strength is sufficient to be able to cater to the requirements which we have for the next 2 to 3 years.
Right. Thank you, sir. So the second question is in terms of supplying the EV-related products to the customers. So are we going in for any long-term contracts with domestic companies or the global companies? And so what are the thoughts on this particular process? How the entire process will pan out once we start commercializing these products?
Very early to say this at this point of time. All I can say is that there is a huge interest from all the potential manufacturers of EV batteries in the country, and we are also talking to several people overseas also. So there is enough interest which is coming in. We have to now go step by step, build the plant, commercialize it, get the product tested, qualified, and then move on. So and that is the time when we'll start looking at the commercial terms and on which we are going to sell our products. It's still too early.
Right. And just a follow-up on this. So once we commercialize any project, usually what is the time frame within which we'll be able to utilize the plant optimally? So is it 2 years, 3 years, or upwards of 3 years?
So just now, after commissioning, it could take a couple of months or a quarter for process tweaking and getting the quality aligned to what is going to be required by the customers, etc. Once that happens, then we start sending out initial quantities, etc. We would expect, given the demand and the current capacities which we are putting up, that in the second year after commissioning, we should be running the plant at full capacity.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that answer, and best of luck, sir.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Anand Jain, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir, and congratulations on a great set of numbers. The first question that I have is, our performance in the fluoro specialty chemical segment has been rather weak. Because from what I remember from earlier conference calls is that we have 700 crores is what we expected as the annual run rate, and this quarter it's been like 65 crores. How do we see this segment going ahead? And the new products that we are adding up, do you think we'll be able to reach much higher capacity utilization? And what would be the size of, or what would be the total sales when these new 8 products gets added in the fluoro specialty chemical side?
See, what I will give you briefly is numbers which we are likely to achieve in terms of turnover next year on the fluoro specialty piece without the chemicals which are going into EV batteries. So yes, we had estimated that we would be able to have a run rate of about 600 crores annually from the investments which we have made in specialty chemicals up till now, which is about 300 to 350 crores. This year again we are investing about 250 crores, which will make a total investment of about 550 to 600 crore in fluoro specialty by 31st March 22. In the financial year 22-23, we are expecting turnover of about 800 to 900 crores from the fluoro specialty business, which would indicate roughly be about 1.4 to 1.5 times asset turnover.
Okay.
This year the performance has been weak for two reasons. One, there has been in two of the products which we made, there has been intense competition. Margins have eroded both because of competition from China and increase in raw material costs, and which we were not able to pass on to the customers, and therefore we had to withdraw. And there has been a decline in sales of some of our pharma intermediates because a lot of the customers moved into making COVID-related medicines. We expect that this will start coming back from January, February, March next year, and in the following financial year, it should come back to a normal sales volume situation.
Great, sir. The second question that I have is, in the fluoro specialty, on the fluoropolymer side, the specialty fluoropolymer side, do we have products which are made for specific clients in the sense that, and also do we have long-term contracts with these clients for the supply of these products?
No, in fluoropolymers, we do not have long-term supplies, and neither for PTFE. That is not the way we conduct our business, or the business is conducted globally. So it is normally it could be spot, 3 monthly, 6 monthly, yearly at the most.
And it's the same thing in fluoro specialty chemicals, sir?
Fluoro specialty chemicals, in the ones in which we are, it follows a similar pattern. But of course, in fluoro specialty chemicals, depending upon what product and what kind of commercial agreement with you and your buyers, they could be much longer. They could be 3-5 years or whatever it is. But we have not as yet got into those kind of products.
Okay. And last question, sir. On the semiconductor side, I think we have an approval from the semiconductor. So is there for fluoropolymers for semiconductor? So are there opportunities here for large contracts, and what is the overall opportunity size in semiconductors?
No, that's very, very difficult to say. We are a very, very small part of the semiconductor industry. Well, the product, one of the products which we make, one of the fluoropolymers which we make, which goes into semiconductors, is a product called PFA. So PFA, our capacity is about 60-70 tons in a month. We are already currently at about 50%, 30%, and the balance 30% is what we are trying to supply to the semiconductor industry. So it's not a humongous business opportunity for us, but yes, the PFA it's a high value polymer, and which finds an application in semiconductors, and that is where we are now getting our grades approved to go in for that application.
Thank you very much. A request to all the participants, please restrict to one question per participant. The next question is from the line of Rupesh Tatia from Intelsense Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and congratulations on the great set of numbers. My question, sir, is in H1 we have roughly 330 crores of new revenue from new fluoropolymers. Out of this 330 crores, roughly what percentage would be these new age applications, 5G, semiconductors, solar panels?
No, up till now, nothing.
Okay. And
all this is going to come in the future.
Polymer at full capacity utilization, if you are saying 65% for Q2, I see roughly it's 1,000 crore plus segment. So in next 2-3 years, these new segments, right, 5G, EV, all this, it will become an equivalent to this size. Is that roughly, can we work with that kind of assumption?
Your voice is not very clear. Can you please repeat your question?
Hello, sir. So what I'm saying is, sir, this new fluoropolymers at full capacity utilization is roughly 1,100 crore kind of size for us. And then this new age, right, in another business unit or profit center we're creating, which is new age applications, 5G, EV, solar panels. Can we work with the assumption that this new age segment will be this similar 1,000 crore kind of number in next 2-3 years?
I think it could be, potential is much larger.
Okay. But we at least that kind of number management has in mind.
Yes, of course. We believe it could be much larger, but again, at this point of time, we don't want to give any numbers out because, frankly speaking, we have not done detailed calculations on what would be the position in the next 2-3 years. But all I can say is that it looks to be substantial and looks to be quite promising.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take the last question from the line of Nikhil from Galaxy International. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir, so just looking at the opportunity size and the capex that we are doing, so can we estimate that we'll be a $1 billion organization by 2025, FY25? Any thoughts?
Yes, inshallah.
Inshallah. Right. Okay. That's great. And sir, just
or be close enough to that. We have not done the number work for 25, but perhaps we should be near about that.
All right. Sure. No, that's God willing. So I think that would be great. So that is one. Second, sir, have you given any thoughts to have any forward integration in some sort of GMP material supplies, right? So right now what we do is all chemicals and let's say N-3, 4, 5 kind of a linkage. But is there any thoughts or anything for forward integration either in API or in N-1, N-2, which might require GMP facilities and other things, which might be more niche?
Just now at this point of time, we have got so much on our plate. We see huge opportunities for growth in the segments in which we are now venturing into, that we don't want to defocus. And even the products which we are manufacturing or going to manufacture will require very, very sophisticated processes and very, very clean environment. Clean environment. So really speaking, at this point of time, we are not looking at those areas. Perhaps in the future, yes, because yes, we can also look at those areas. But at this point of time, we are focusing more on what we have already started.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ravi Mehta from Deep Financial Consultants. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Just one small clarification. Like in some of the earlier calls, we were given an understanding that the current gross block, what was there, ignoring the new capexes that you are announcing, that had a potential to generate 3,600 crore kind of a top line, and which with some kind of capex being planned can go to 4,200 crores. Given the whole pricing environment now, and just ignoring the new capexes and the new verticals, future-ready businesses, what these numbers could now be, some kind of color you can share?
Oh, I didn't get your question. Are you talking about the expected turnover for this financial year?
No, maybe not this financial year. So we were given a sense that maybe by 23 or 24 you can hit a peak turnover of 4,200 crores with the gross block that you had. This was in some of the earlier calls a few quarters back. So given the dynamics of the environment, what could be a peak turnover from the current gross block you have? I'm ignoring the battery chemicals and the the new businesses. Maybe some number on what.
Give me a minute. Oh, yeah.
capacity?
No, so with investments which we would already have put in by 31st March 22, we can expect a turnover of about 4,500 to 5,000 crores.
Okay. And the recent margin uptake of upwards of 25%, closer to 30%, is that kind of a sustainable margin given the pricing environment you are in?
You're saying 30% EBITDA margins, is it?
Yeah, EBITDA margins.
Yeah. I think this will be sustainable.
Sure.
Maybe it will improve in the next few quarters, but I think long term this should be sustainable. Given the nature of products which we are going in for, I think this would be sustainable.
And also any color on the peak debt number which can be given the capex roadmap?
No, the debt will only reduce in the next 1 year. We will see further reduction in debt. All these new capexes will be funded from internal generation. It will not be funded through debt.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Due to the time constraint, we would have liked to take the more question but couldn't do. Well, as always, I would like to thank you for your interest in the company and look forward to your continued participation on these earning update calls and look forward to your support as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to further earning calls quarter by quarter and hope for improved performance as we move on.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Emkay Global Financial Services Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.